Ravishing Ross Twiddell merchandise is on sale now at cultaholicshop.com, where you can also find a Black Friday sale with up to 40% off everything you can see on cultaholicshop.com. So make sure you get your fingers on that thing there, because a portion of the proceeds are also going to Movember UK, which is what this thing is all about. And I feel like I should apologise before I get going with the WTF moments today. I feel like a bit of a prick for publishing this video, but you at home, you're expecting some WTF moments from yours truly. But to be honest with you, watching last night's Dynamite, the WTF moments were certainly few and far between. I've tried really hard to find those WTF moments, and you might come away from this video angry at what I'm about to say, but I tried, and that's all I could do. Sometimes my hands are tied trying to find these WTF moments. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's do this anyway. Intro man, do your bloody job. Here are some of the WTF moments I get from last night's AEW Dynamite. God, I'm nervous about this going live. It's crap, it's terrible. Turn the video off now. And we're kicking things off with Adam Hangman Page, who of course labels himself a millennial cowboy, but he's apparently a millennial who lost his phone 6 weeks ago and didn't even replace it. And I was thinking, get out of town, Adam Hangman Page, you lying bastard. And that's because, as we all know, most of the other generations alive today, even those bastard boomers and their boomerish ways, they use oxygen to breathe and therefore to live. But I'm a millennial just like Adam Hangman Page is as well, and we of course don't use oxygen, we use mobile phones to live and breathe, because quite frankly, if we didn't have them, or if we didn't have them for 6 weeks, we would die, wouldn't we? So I don't think that's true. And if you at home was to ask me one question from last night's Dynamite, Ravishing Ross Twiddell, what is one thing you did not expect to see on last night's show? I would tell you, with this Nanti thing on my top lip, I would not have expected to see one John Silver himself spanking Hangman Page in the middle of the ring. But I did see it, therefore WTF. But I guess this can't really be a WTF moment, because we all know that Johnny Silver, boy, he is Johnny Hungy. I just didn't realise that Johnny was hungry for that ass. And then he went there. Oh my God, he went there. And he went there because Kenny Omega told Jon Moxley, John, my dad would beat the poo out of your dad. I cannot believe it either. I cannot believe that interview there was broadcast on international television platforms. And first of all, I've got to make this a WTF moment, because I'm sure I've heard some stories about Jon Moxley's dad, and therefore I do not believe that Jon Moxley's dad would have the poo beaten out of him by Kenny Omega's dad. I reckon it would be the other way around. Therefore, WTF. And second of all, we've got to make this a WTF moment, because Kenny Omega definitively saying that while being a professional wrestler, it simply can't be right. And that's because we all know there's only one professional wrestler living and breathing today who can truly say, my dad would beat the poo out of your dad, and his name is Tama Tonga. And that's because, if you didn't know, his dad is Haku. Need I say any more? Kenny Omega being so definitive in his statement there has got to be a WTF moment, when Tama Tonga is the only guy living, breathing today who can truly say that as a matter of fact. Imagine Haku being your dad. Now I need to preface the following WTF moment by saying, yes, I recognise the Powerhouse Hobbs. It sounds like a nickname, but the way it was presented on last night's Dynamite, both in graphics and by the commentators especially, Powerhouse Hobbs, that's his brand new ring name. Willie has gone. The Willie is all out of here. He is now called Powerhouse Hobbs. First name Powerhouse, second house Hobbs. Second name Hobbs. And of course I've got to make it a WTF moment, the fact that Powerhouse Hobbs had his name, his proper actual name, updated, but his gear, which was also making its Dynamite debut, as far as my deranged mind can remember, that is immediately out of date. He got new gear, he got a new name, but the gear is out of date. And we all know that is the cardinal sin for any professional wrestler alive today. Just ask Riddle on Monday Night Raw. So we've got it confirmed. The graphics on last night's show, they were saying his name is Powerhouse Hobbs. The commentators were saying his name is Powerhouse Hobbs. His gear was saying his name is still Willie Hobbs. And then Stardust himself gets in the middle of the ring on last night's Dynamite and calls him Will Hobbs. And I feel like Jim Cornette for the first time in my YouTube career, because here I am shouting into the void about semantics that don't really matter whatsoever. I told you I had to try really hard to find WTF moments from last night's show, and this is what we're dealing with. It's pathetic and crap, I know, I'm sorry. And so then we learned that Taz's son is called Hook, and my childhood is coming back to me. It's all flooding back inside of my mind because of that scary bastard there. That scene in the film where him and his gang of merry men, they throw a poor bastard in a treasure chest thing and they put a couple of scorpions in afterwards, and you can hear the screams. I can still hear the screams. It's still all with me, and learning that Taz's son is that scary bastard there last night. It's all brought it back and I want to cry. Move out of the way! That was very strange from Miro, my former Bay and spirit animal, who, by the way, is in the midst of a god-awful storyline. I don't care what you say, but was also very funny. So as the host of these WTF moments, I am conflicted. Now, when I was putting together the script for these awful WTF moments from last night's Dynamite, I was really worried this video was going to be all of 2 minutes. So I've put this one down, even though I know it's not really a WTF moment. But once again, semantics plays a part here, even though semantics, they do not matter at all, do they? But we heard Jon Moxley telling Kenny Omega, Kenny, next week when winter comes to town. Why is it 2012 and AEW with that catchphrase there for the show next week? I've got no idea. But he tells Kenny Omega, Kenny, you're going to have to do something nobody's done for 18 months, and that's beat me. But as we all know, I've got a weird fetish for diving in the history books and finding things out that contradict the things the wrestlers say on TV. And I found out that on March the 4th, les sex gods themselves, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, they defeated the team of Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. So John's got a big L in his column in the history books or something. Therefore, WTF, I guess, maybe. And am I the only person alive today who does not care one bit for Matthew James Cuthbert Hardy having 50 different gimmicks at one time? I was watching this promo from last night's show, which, by the way, included highlights from Full Gear where Broken-ish Matt Hardy defeated Sammy Guevara in that silly bollocks match at the Hardy compound, and my face just looked like that. And if my face looks like that, I feel compelled to make it a WTF moment. Even if you do follow Matthew James Cuthbert Hardy on Twitter, you would expect this braggadocious stuff to be included on AEW Dynamite, so once again I'm conflicted. What I do know though, dear viewer, is that I do not care for Matthew James Cuthbert Hardy having 50 different gimmicks at the same time. You just get lost, and it's a bit confusing. Maybe that's just because I'm stupid, but there we go. Of course, not all WTF moments have to be negative, so we're finishing off with a positive WTF moment here on this awful video. Once again, I'm very sorry. Sometimes my hands are tied, and this week was one of those weeks. This is the main reason I chose to cover AEW and not NXT, because I used to do NXT back in the day, and those videos were short and crap as well. And this one's pretty much the same as they were back then. But Lance Archer, after getting rid of his wonderful theme that is sort of like It's My Life by John Bon Jovi and pals himself, he's got it back now. So of course, with a slightly inferior different theme replaced by a former theme that was better, that's a WTF moment apparently, and all is right in the world again. So that's it, I guess, for all the WTF moments from last night's Dynamite. Last night's Dynamite in terms of WTF moments was a really hard show to cover. I hope watching this bollocks you had a laugh and didn't get too angry with the subject area that was covered during the course of this video, but once again, I'm sorry, my hands, they were tied. But just a couple of departing thoughts before we end this utter travesty of a YouTube video. First of all, I do not want to hear a bad word said about Big Dick Tony Schiavone's wild geranium trousers. Quite frankly, I wish I had the dick and the balls big enough to even have the gall to even think of putting those trousers on and then appear on international broadcast television. Big dick Tony Schiavone, eh? All kinds of big dick energy. But I tell you what, last night's episode as well, it made me think about that thing Cody Rhodes said a very long time ago, that AEW will not have defined heels and baby faces. Lance Archer interfering on behalf of Death Triangle, who were heels until Pac returned, but wrestled that match last night baby faces, and Lance Archer, he's been a proper heel for God knows how long, but now it would appear he's slightly baby face. But I think that's where Cody Rhodes' sentiments from a long time ago, they're starting to make sense, and it's just because within this AEW universe, all the AEW wrestlers, their stories intertwine, and we're picking things up from months ago, like when Eddie Kingston pissed off Lance Archer, and we're picking it up again now. And I tell you what, that just makes for some compelling television, because you sat there thinking, oh yeah, that thing did happen a long time ago, and now we're dealing with it now because everybody intertwines. It's unbelievable stuff. I like it. I do like it. But that's it for the video now. The serious analysis there, that was the highlight of a really bad video. Once again, I'm sorry. I've been Ross Twiddell. Any complaints, write to Adam Pacitti on Twitter, @Adam Pacitti, and I'll see you next time. If there is even a next time, this could be the end.